Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Chapter 11, Lesson 2, Volumes of Prisms and Cylinders. So our main objective is to identify the cross-section of 3D figures as polygon, or you can say as 2D shape, and find the volume of the prisms and cylinders using the formula. So let's quickly discuss what is the main formula for finding the volume of the cylinders or volume of the prisms. This is the main formula. Volume of prisms and cylinders, we always find the volume by area of the base and then we multiply it with the height of the cylinder or height of the prism. What is the meaning of area of the base? It means area of the cross section. Even in my last video, I explained you what is the meaning of cross section. Cross section means when you cut a shape into slices, each slice or each cross section is of the same size and same shape. So you will find the area of that shape or that 2D shape and then you will multiply it with the height. Let me explain you. For example, if you cut this triangular prism into slices, or if you take a cross section of this you can say triangular prism, each cross section will be a triangle. So that means you have to find the area of the triangle. What is the formula for finding the area of the triangle? It is half times base times height, and then you will multiply it with the height of the prism. Similarly, if you look at this one, this is the base, this is the cross section, or this is the base. Remember, the base is always, you can say, one of the face, and on the opposite side you have another face, and these two faces are exactly of the same shape and same size. Okay, this is the base. So you will find the area by multiplying b times h, and then you will multiply it with the height, or you can say length with the width and multiply it with the height. It's the same thing. Okay, in case of a cylinder, if you cut it into slices, or if you take the cross section, or you take one of the face, it is a circle. So what is the formula for finding the area of the circle? It's pi r squared, then you will multiply it with the height. In case of a trapezoidal prism, how do you find the area of the trapezoid? This is the formula for finding the area of the trapezoid. We take the half of the base, and then you add the half of the sum of the two bases, this base B and this base A. We add these two bases, we take its half, and then we multiply it with this height of the trapezoid. And to find the volume, when you will be done with the area of this trapezoid, you will multiply it with the length of the trapezoid, or you can say you will multiply it with the height of the trapezoid. Okay, clear? Let's solve now the question. So better memorize these formulas, because if you will not memorize these formulas, you will be confused while you will be solving the questions. So first thing is decide which shape they have given you to solve. And 10. So simply you will take 6, 3 and 10 and you will multiply them. So finally your answer will become 180, 180, it's not an angle. So 180 cubic centimeters. Remember, the unit for the volume is always cubic centimeters. Clear? Let's find the area, the volume for the triangular prism. So if you want to write directly the formula, you can write directly the formula. If you want to write it in this way, you can write in this way. It's all your choice. So the volume, I mean, some students, they like to do it in two steps. In step 1, they find the area of the triangle separately, and then they multiply in the second step the answer of the first step with the height. So all your choice. If you want to do it in this way, you can do it in this way. Okay, base, what is the base? Then you will look at this triangle, what is the base of this triangle? It's 12. Okay, multiply it with the height of the triangle. What is the height of the triangle? It is 16, and then you have to take the half of it. Okay, when you will be done with all of this, you will multiply it with the height of this triangular prism. How much it is? It is 20. By the way, you can put all of this together on the calculator. So finally, when you put these values onto the calculator, the answer will become 1920. Clear? Okay, now next we have a cylinder. Let me draw. Okay, here. Now for the cylinder, what will you do for the cylinder? This is the formula for finding the volume of the cylinder. So volume equals pi r squared. So what is the radius? R means radius. So the radius of the cylinder is 6. So you will write 6 squared times, what is the height? It's 14. So when you multiply all of these together on the calculator and change them into decimal, so it becomes 1583.36 cubic centimeters. The unit for the volume will in all the cases will be, if it is in centimeters, it will be cubic centimeters. Here it's in meters, so it will be cubic meters, right? Okay, now here first you have to find the area of the trapezoid. What is the formula for finding the area of the trapezoid? I'll show you. It's half times the addition of the two bases, or the sum of the two bases. What is the base here? It's 6. Okay, plus what is the other base? How will you know what is the other base? In case of the trapezoid, the two parallel lines of the trapezoid are called the bases. So this base is 6. How long is this base? It's 4. So that means you have to add 6 and 4. You have to take its half, multiply it by the height of the trapezoid. What is the height of the trapezoid? Let me show it to you with the green color. So this is the height of the trapezoid. So it's 4. So this is the area of the trapezoid. Finally, whatever the answer of this step will be, you will multiply it with the length of the trapezoidal prism, or you can say the height of the trapezoidal prism. Because when the prism is placed like this, usually we call this distance between the two faces, the first face and the last face, as length. But if it is placed like this, like one of the faces on the bottom and the other faces on the top, we call it height. It's the same thing. Clear? So you will multiply it by 9, and finally the answer will become, it's becoming 180 cubic feet. Hope you understand how to use the formulas. But the best thing is to first memorize these formulas. And by the way, they will not only ask you to directly find the formula for these prisms or cylinders. Maybe they will ask you to find the missing height of the cylinder. Maybe they will ask you to find the let's say missing length of the rectangular prism. Something else they can ask you. Clear? Here is another rule. It says Cavalari's principle. What does it say? It states that if two three-dimensional figures have the same height and the same cross-sectional area at every level, then they have the same volume. As you can see here in this diagram, they have given you three different types of, you can say, prisms. The first one is a rectangular prism, this is a triangular prism, this is a cylinder, right? And they have shown over here with the capital B that what is the base area or cross-sectional area for this rectangular prism. It's B, and here it's B, and here it's B. This shows that all of them, they have the same cross-sectional area. Now what is the formula for finding the volume? It's cross-sectional area times height. So all of these three shapes have the same cross-sectional area, and you can see from here they have the same height. That means they will have the same volume. Let me give you an example. For example, if they have the same cross-sectional area, that means the cross-sectional area for this one is, let's say 12 square centimeters. How much will be for this one? For sure it will be 12 square centimeters, right? Because they have the same cross-sectional area. How much will be for this one? It will also have the same cross-sectional area, that is 12 squared centimeters. Now what is the height of each one of these? Let's say the height is 4 centimeters. So how will you find the volume for the first one? So you will take the cross-sectional area, that is 12, and you will multiply it with the height, that is 4. So it will become 48 cubic centimeters. For the second one, it is the same formula, V equals base I mean area of the cross section times the height. So again it will be 12 times 4, that will be 48 cubic centimeters. So this shows that if it does not matter which prism you are dealing with, the main thing is the cross-sectional area of the prism with the height. If they have the same cross-sectional area and the same height, even if they look different, they will have the same volume. Hope it's clear for you. Now here is an example for the theorem that we just did. You can see here we have been given two cylinders, or you can say two canisters. Okay, they said which canister holds more liquid or more jam or whatever is inside the canisters. Now what is the volume for this canister? How I will find the volume for this canister? It will be, as you know, that what is the formula for finding the volume of the cylinder? I'm dealing with this one, so I'll write it over here with the green one. So how I will find, I'll write over here with the green color. So the volume of the green one will be pi r squared h, right? So you will substitute the values. What is the radius? Now this one is given actually the diameter. So please don't make this mistake in the quiz or in the exam. This is the diameter. So the radius is always the half of the diameter. So it's 10 centimeters. So you will write over here 10 squared times. What is the height of this canister? It's 25. So you will multiply it by 25 as it's shown here. So the final answer is becoming 7,854, and this is almost like, it's not the exact answer, so it's cubic centimeters. So this is the volume for the green one. Now let's do with the orange one. Let me take an orange color from here. So let's take the orange one. What is the volume for the orange one? It's an oblique cylinder. Oblique cylinder means you can see it's tilted, and here they have given you its slant height. Remember, whenever we want to find the volume of any shape, we do not need the slant height. Sometimes it confuses the students. They take this height. We don't need the slant height. We always need the vertical height of the cylinder, or in the next lessons when you will be dealing with the cones. Remember, we need the vertical height, okay, this standing line. So again, you will write the formula. This is the formula for finding the volume of the cylinder. So it's pi times, again this is given the diameter, so you will find the radius. It will be 10 centimeters. So it's 10 squared times, what is the height? It has the same vertical height, 25. So for sure it will have the same volume, 7,854 cubic centimeters. So this is a kind of proof for the Cavaliere's principle, that even if you have an oblique cylinder or a vertical cylinder, both will have the same volume. What is the reason? Because they have the same radius and they have the same vertical height. Is that clear? Okay, let's start now some try it question. Here is try it number 3. It says Catherine is using cans of juice to fill a cylindrical pitcher that is 11 inches tall and has a radius of 4 inch. Each can of juice is 6 inches tall and with a radius of 2 inches. How many cans of juice will Catherine need? That means actually she has two, you can say, different sizes of cylinders. The first one is the large one, that is the pitcher, and she is trying to fill it with a small one, like the size of this cylinder. The radius for this cylinder is given. What is the radius for this cylinder? It is 4 inches and it is 11 inches tall. So 11 inches is the height of the cylinder and the radius of the cylinder is 4 inches. So that means you have to find the volume for this large cylinder and the volume for the smaller cylinder, and then you have to check that how many these small cylinders or cans will help her or she needs to fill this large pitcher. Clear? Let's do it step by step. So first let's find in step 1 the volume of the large one, the volume of the pitcher. So I'll write over here like volume of the pitcher, pi r squared h. This is the formula. So let's put the values into it. Pi times, what is the radius? It's 4 squared. What is the height? It's 11. So all of it will become 176 pi. If you want to convert it into decimal, you can convert it into decimal. If you want to leave it like this, no issue, you can leave it like this. So this is step 1. Let's go to step 2 now. I'll do it with a different color. So step 2. So step 2 is to find the volume of the can. So I'll write over here small c to show that we are finding the volume of the can. Same formula, pi r squared. Pi times, what is the radius for the smaller can? It's 2 inches. So you will write 2 squared times, what is the height of the smaller can? It's 6. So together it will become 24 pi. Is my question done? No, it's not done yet, because actually I have to find that if I have a smaller can of this volume, how many cans of, you can say, water or juice are needed to fill this large pitcher. So step 3 will be, it's always whenever you are trying to find the number of cans needed, or you can say the number of glasses needed to fill a bigger shape, it's always division. So what will you do to find the number of cans? What can you do now? You have to divide 176 pi by what? By 24 pi. The answer is becoming, let me check what is the answer. So let me show you the answer. Here is the answer. So the answer is becoming 7.33. That means she needs 7 cans and 1 more can. Or although the last can, it will not be full, but she needs how many cans to fill this pitcher? She needs 8 cans, because if she will take 7 cans, then it will not be full. So she needs another can, maybe a part of it, not the full 8th can, but at least she needs 8 cans to fill this bigger pitcher. Is that clear for you? Okay, now here is a list. When you will open this PowerPoint on Schoology, you will find this list of the formulas. If you want to go with it, you can go with this one, okay? Or you can use the first slide on which I solve the questions. Let me show you which one I'm talking about. I'm talking about this one. Or you can take help from this, okay? So let's start the questions from the exercise now. Here. Now they want you to find the volume of each figure, and all these are 3D shapes. So how do we find the volume for the first one? You first decide which shape is this. It's a triangular prism. Oh, sorry, it's a rectangular prism. What is the formula for finding the volume of the rectangular prism? Better when you are trying to practice for this lesson, always try to write the formula first. So it's length times width times height. So it will be 7 times 8 times 15. Doesn't matter even if you will switch the places of these numbers, because it's all multiplication. So we will check what is the answer. Wait. So it's becoming 840 cubic inches. Let's solve the next one. How will you find the volume for this one? It's a rectangular prism, but you can say it's oblique rectangular prism, but doesn't matter. Each cross section will be of the same size, so same formula will be used. Length times width times height. Just you have to notice that what is the height, what is the vertical height given for it. You have to use that height. So it's going to be 5 times 6 times 4. So it will be 120 cubic centimeters. Clear? Let's solve more questions. So here is the next one. It says which shape is this? It's a triangular prism. Oblique. No problem. Just you need the vertical height. It's given. What is the formula for the triangular prism? We find half of base times height. This is for what? This is for the triangle. And then we multiply it with the height of the prism. Okay, let's put the values into it. By the way, because it's all multiplication, if you want to write all of it together on the calculator, you can write it as it is, or by putting the brackets. It's all your choice. So it's half times, what is the base? You have to look at the triangle. That what is the base of the triangle? It's 3. And what is the height of the triangle? It will be mentioned here in the triangle with the right angle. So it's 1. So this is the area for the base. And what is the height? Its vertical height is 7. So you will substitute the values like this. So let's see what is the answer. So the answer is becoming 1.5. Let me check. Yes, it's 1.5 is the answer for this bracket. Times it by 7. So together it will be 10.5 cubic meters, right? So this will be the answer. Here is the next question. I want you to pause the video here and try to solve this question on your own, and then please check your answer. Here is the answer for question number 12. We cannot find right now the volume of cylinder A. What is the reason? Because they didn't give us the vertical height. Even if we try to find the vertical height, that vertical height will be different from these two. Okay, what is the reason? Because this is the slant height. If you find the vertical height, it will be different. Clear? So it means that whatever, even if you try to find the volume of cylinder A, it will be different, but the volume of cylinder B and cylinder C, both of them have the same volume, that is 4 pi. Because when you apply the formula for the rectangular prism, it's becoming 4 pi, and here the radius will be 1. Right, the diameter is given 2 feet. If you find the radius, it will be 1. So when you substitute it into the formula, it's becoming 4 pi. Clear? Okay, here is the next question. It says Telisa plants a 6-foot deep pond. While digging, she hits rock 5 feet down. How can Telisa modify the radius to maintain the original volume of the pond? Now, as you can see here, we have been given two diagrams. This is the original plan in which she was planning to dig a pond 6 feet deep, and the radius was 3 feet. Now when she tried to dig it, she couldn't dig it till 6 feet, and she had to stop at 5 feet. Obviously, if she wants to hold the same amount of water from this size to this side, she has to expand, you can say, or she has to make it wide. So the pond, because it's not deep as the first one, it's less deep, so it means it has to be wider than the first one to hold the same amount of water. So obviously the radius will change. That means the volume for this one and the volume for this one is the same. So let's first find what is the volume that this first pond, the original pond, can hold. So volume will be equal to pi r squared h. So what is pi times what is the radius? It's 3, so it will be 3 squared, and what is the height? It's 6. So this one will be 3 3s are 9, 9 times 6 will be 54 pi. Let's keep it as pi. Okay, and the unit will be cubic feet. Now if I go for the second pond, this is all step 1, you can say. So let's go to step 2, in which, let me write with a different color. Okay, step 2. Now in step 2, we will find the volume for the second pond. What is the formula for the second pond? The same formula, pi r squared h. We know what is the volume, because she wants this pond to hold the same amount of water, or she wants the same volume that was for the original plan. So it means this v can be replaced by 54 pi, right? Okay, here we have pi. Do we know the radius of the second pond? No. So leave r square over there. And now what is h? The height is for the second pond, it's 5. Now one by one move these terms on the other side. So it will be 54 pi, and you will divide it by what? Pi and 5, because both of these are in the numerator. On the other side they will be in the denominator, r squared. Now what can you cancel? We can cancel this pi with this pi. So 54 divided by 5, what it will be? It will be 10 point, let me check, it will be 10.8 r squared. Then you have to take the square root to find the value of the radius. So the value of the radius will be, let me check. So it's becoming, when you take the square root of both sides, square root of this side and square root of this side, so the final value of the radius is becoming 3.3 feet. So you can clearly see that when it was 6 foot deep, the radius was 3 feet, right? When it is now, because it's only 5 feet deep, so she has to make it wider. She has to make it 3.3 feet. The radius has to be 3.3 feet so that it can hold the same amount of water. Hope it's clear for you. Here is the next question. It says the volume of the prism shown is 70 cubic yards. What is the length? That means you have to write the formula and substitute the values that are mentioned here in the question, and then try to find the length of the. So what is the formula? V equals half of base times height. This is for the triangle, and then you have to multiply it with the height of the prism. And as I told you in the beginning, that sometimes they do not use the word letter H over here. They write it L, the length of the prism. So it's the same thing, right? What is length or height? The first face of the shape. This is the first face. Let me show you. Wait just 1 second. Let me show you the first. This is the first face, or you can say the front face. This is the last one. So the distance between the two faces is called the length, or sometimes we call it height. So they want us to find this one. So let's substitute the values into it. What is the volume? It's 72. Now what, half times base times height. What is the base of the triangle? It's 3.5. And what is the height of the triangle? It's mentioned here. It's 5. And then you will multiply it by L. So 72 equals, now let's see what is the answer for this bracket. So it's becoming 8.75 and L. So how will you get the value of L? Move this 8.75 to the other side, or you can say divide each side by 8.75. So the final answer will become 8, and it's B part. Clear? Means the value of L will be 8. The length of this prism will be 8 yards. Here is a challenge question for you. Better pause the video here and solve this challenge question on your own. First you have to find the volume of cylinder A, and then you have to find what is the height of cylinder B and what is the height of cylinder C, and all of these have the same height. Better pause the video here and solve it on your own. Here is the answer for A and B, both parts. First you will find what is the volume for cylinder A. So as you can see here, I did it over here. This is the volume for cylinder A. Why do we have to find this volume? Because this volume of cylinder A will be replaced for the volume of cylinder B to find its height. So you will write the same formula that we use for finding the volume of any cylinder. And then because we do not know the height, you will keep it as H and the rest of the values. And remember, just one more thing you have to keep in your mind, that in all these three cases they have given you the diameter. So be careful, we cannot use the diameter in the formula, we have to use the radius. So for each one of them, first you will find the radius, you will substitute it into the values, and then in the end you will make H the subject and it will give you the height. Hope it's clear. Let's do some more questions. So here we have some more challenge questions. Better pause the video here and try to solve both these questions and then play the video to check your answer. So here is the answer for both the challenge questions. The first one was saying which best compares the volumes of the cylinder X and cylinder Y. Clearly you can see that the radius for the cylinder is R and the radius for the cylinder is R. This shows that both of these cylinders have the same radius. What is the height for cylinder X? It's H. What is the height for cylinder Y? It's H. This shows that both the cylinders have the same radius, they have the same height, they will have the same volume, right? It does not matter even if this one is the oblique cylinder and this one is the vertical cylinder, no problem. They will have the same volume. So this is the correct option. Now in the second question, they have given you two different prisms. This is the rectangular prism and they said both the prisms have the same volume. So we found the volume of prism J and then we substituted it in the volume of the prism K, that is a triangular prism, and this W was unknown for the triangle. This is the base and this is the height. So height was unknown. So base times height, I replaced height by W because they said put it as W. and then I substituted the values and solve it for W, so it's becoming 8. That's all for this video. Hope you understand the lesson.